And then I'm going to share it to Mac of the Future. Setting up your meeting.
What?
And
Ginsburg is live. Live.
You get notifications of that?
Evidently.
All right. Let's go to YouTube.
Okay, you're live.
Yes, I am. What?
Oh, okay.
Boo, 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 boo.
How can I share this? I just want to share this to... No, I just want to share this to a group, and I don't want to share it as a frickin'... Okay, good. There it is. Putting Warren is even here.
Am I here?
We're live right now.
What? Don't tell anybody.
Well, they'll find out in about a minute or
now.
That's one of those new Scandinavian beds. That's what you're in right now.
I'm
Special
in,
design.
I'm actually in a IKEA store.
Yeah.
As we speak. Like that's where I'm broadcasting from the IKEA.
From the IKEA.
It's from the IKEA. It's a friggin' Gergen pillow.
Gerbadoosh. Yeah.
I'm on their computer.
From the IKEA.
I'm on their It's a friggin' Gergen pillow. Wait. Now I hear me.
Yeah, I turned it off. I was mute. Okay, so we're live now. I think it looks like Facebook looks good. I'm not even going to pay attention.
But I heard me.
You won't because I muted it. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're live. Hopefully people back to the future are seeing us.
Hopefully not. That's it.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
All right, good.
Let's do that.
Let's go ahead and get going here. And I want to start Zoom just in case.
What?
And now you're hearing, okay, you got to turn that down.
No, I am. I'm just seeing who's in the chat room with us.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell.
All right. We are live. Let me get my notes up and we'll get ready. We'll be started here.
Notes.
All those notes. There we go. We're at 108. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
Bergen.
In 3, 2. Welcome to episode 108 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies, plus tips, apps, and gear. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. I was not expecting him to be here, but how you doing from the hospital?
I am committed.
You are.
Or should be.
Or should be.
I am very surprised you made it, but we really appreciate it because we do enjoy having you on as our co-host. So, and that other voice you heard there is Mr. Guy Searle from mymac.com podcast. And what's going on, Guy?
Oh, nothing much. I'm delighted to be here. We had a great show last night ourselves over at Mac the Future.
We did.
It was
a lot of fun.
Oh.
Without me?
Yeah, well, you had a better. Yeah, you were kind of indisposed.
Last night was not as good as today, but yes, yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
But no, we're glad you're here, Warren. Appreciate it. And if anybody's listening, you'll if it does bow out at any time, there will be a reason. So we'll work through it. But we'll definitely like to hear your insights on things and
hopefully not me dying.
Yeah, that would really spoil the podcast. So don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. All right,
I'm in the right place to die.
I got a lot of news stories here this week, and I wanted to talk to a guy about his upgrade to his iPhone SE. He's had it for a few months, so I'd like to know how he's liking it. And then, of course, we got beta discussions as well as the iOS 13.6 was released after we recorded the last episode. So we're going to review that a little bit, and we'll just have some fun discussions here today. So let's go ahead and dig right back into the news here, because that's what we do have fun here doing here. So First story. This is on Mac Rumors. AT&T says its 5G network is now available nationwide. Yeah, great.
Is that 5G or 5GE?
Yeah, GE. Yeah, it says it's now live nationwide following a slow rollout that began with tests in major cities back in 2017. Oh yeah, the 5GE. Specifically today marks the addition of 40 new markets and adds support 5G, making it available to 205 million customers in 395 markets across the United States. That's really super exciting. AT&T, as why we joke, is because they said they had quote unquote 5G, but it was really 5GE, which it was kind of misleading because they didn't have 5G.
It was kind of like LTEE.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what do you think, Guy? I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. I was an AT&T customer back in the day because that was really the only way you could get an iPhone originally.
As well as I was.
Yeah, and they did a couple of things back in the day that really hacked me off. And as soon as a different company that also used the same kind of the GSM network, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of
As soon
GPRS maybe.
Yeah. Well, as soon as somebody else was also on the same kind of network that AT&T used, I swapped them and haven't looked back.
Yeah, me too. I love T-Mobile. I'm very happy with them.
That's who I used to.
Little pain points with them, but like I said, I've always said that the carriers are not perfect. I will not say any of them are great. So, but we gotta have somebody. So, did you have any thoughts, Warren, on this?
Just there's different types of rollouts going on too. Verizon, from what I'm reading, Verizon has 5G, but mainly they have the close proximity stronger one that doesn't go through walls. That's their big thing now, where it's more in cities and stadiums and things like that.
I'm going to share it to Mac in future.
Wait a second. I just heard myself again.
Setting up your meeting.
I'm hearing myself.
Right.
I'm hearing myself.
All right. Turn it down.
You got it? Okay. I sound pretty good though.
You are good.
But
carry on.
Yeah. So anyways, they all have different rollouts. So Verizon's concentrating seems to be on the faster, low travel one. T-Mobile seems to be the opposite with the I forget the terms, but the more widespread, slower one. And I don't know what AT&T is doing, but the golden ticket, whoever gets both of these technologies rolled out to the most places first, is with the cheapest price is going to win. I think T-Mobile still is having the best pricing on their 5G
absolutely
network. So I think it's almost as close as their normal LTE plans, which is great. So
there's still no iPhones that have 5G.
Not yet. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the iPhone 12, right?
This is where all the Android people are laughing at us at this point. But yeah. So would it be nice to have? Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna get it. Obviously, when a 5G iPhone's out, I'm gonna get it. And I'm gonna sign up for 5G because, I mean, there's no reason not to have faster speeds. Like I'm in a hospital. Like right now, I'm in a hospital, and the Wi-Fi I'm using here is 10, 12 megabits per second. It's working, but it's not great. And of course, a beta dropped. So here I am, in the hospital.
He's going through withdrawal already. I was waiting.
I did it. It took me 8 hours. But I downloaded.
Oh, you're out of your mind. All right, we'll talk about
on the one device that you have to communicate with the outside world.
I brought three of them for this occasion. I brought my MacBook, my iPad.
Oh my God.
So I knew it was happening today, and I knew today I was going to be incapacitated at the hospital. So, so I downloaded on the hotel, the hospital Wi-Fi, and it's slow. So anyways, yes, 5G would have helped me today in this situation if I had a good, 30, 40 megabits per second. That would have been nice. I would have spent less time downloading the beta here.
All right, hold that thought, because we are going to talk about beta, because we always do with you. So,
well, I'm committed.
I know you
Or
are.
should
We know
be.
you are. You should be committed. Yeah.
Probably. I
Next
might
story.
be fraud. This might be where I am now. They didn't tell me.
Next story. This is a 9 to 5 Mac Plex, which is a great. We've had discussion about Plex in the past here. Launched a free live TV on iPhone, Apple TV, and the web without a tuner or antenna. I'm like, oh, this is exciting because I did have a Homer in HD and I got rid of it because I couldn't get good reception with the antenna. So Plex is out with a nice update for its platform that sees free live TV arrive.
How are they doing live TV?
Well, let me get to that.
Okay. All right.
And so this is a new ad-supported feature that will include content from more than 80 channels and is available on iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, Android, Roku.
Wow.
And you don't even require a tuner antenna. I haven't gotten to I haven't got to this yet. So Plex users have been enjoying the service. If you can ditch cable, if you want to have a compatible tuner and antenna, and it doesn't work, you got to have an insane antenna for it to be able to do it. So yeah, it's live TV for free. Great. Okay, you should see the channels that you have as choices.
I looked.
Sports Grid, IGN, Fubo, Sports Network. I don't even know what this one is.
Was that Fubo or Fubar?
Fubar. Retro Crush, IGN, AFV Family, Yahoo Finance, Reuters.
AFV, America's.
Can I keep going? There's an actual channel just for deal or no deal. You can watch just that channel.
I think I do that.
I'm looking forward to Kadoodle.
Yeah.
So
TV classics. Wait, the Beverly Hillbillies are on right now. We got to go watch that. And Law and Crime Trial Network, you go watch that, and Game Show Network, which I guess that's okay. But there are no channels that you ever even want to watch. This is
they're
insanity.
low rent. Yeah,
these are like all the channels that your cable company says we've got 500 channels, but you don't want to watch 475 of them.
Yeah.
You've never heard of any of them.
I mean, nice try, Plex. I'm impressed, but I'm sure it all has to do with licensing and not being able to pay for the content, which makes total sense.
TVs do this too.
Yeah,
like
Pluto TV I think was like this too. I think they had a lot of off the wall networks on that service.
But once in a while on Pluto, I found a movie or two. But what I was like, I have an LG TV, a smart TV, and they have a LG channel. And if you go on the smart TV settings, you go to the LG channel, and it's very similar. It's the low rent channels that nobody cares about that they'll throw in as for people.
I mean, and we had a segment on Plex before. They do have a lot of good movies and TV stuff that you can watch that's not live TV. That's on there that's for free. Beyond you having your Plex server and hosting your own shows and movies and such. But
have you guys signed up for Peacock?
Yes, I haven't.
It's actually Peacock is actually included with the Xfinity Comcast, so I get it for free.
Okay.
But it's limited.
The unad supported.
Correct. It still has ads. I mean, they I don't think,
and that's fine. And this has been my thing.
Back up for a sec, because everybody gets it for free with the ads. So I don't know what you guys tell me what Xfinity.
Well, actually, I have the premium. It is premium on Xfinity. Yes.
You get like lots of on-demand stuff and lots of prior shows that used to be on. Yeah.
There's three tiers.
You know what? Here's the thing. Even the free tier, if you're on the free tier and you're seeing ads, okay, that's like, okay, well, you've got NBC TV local in whatever market is that you're in. And if you're watching it through an antenna or through your cable service, you're going to see ads anyway. So as long as I can see the live content, including sports, which would be nice, and other things along those lines. Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm not sure about with Peacock, but it's really what most of the major networks used to do. They were all ad supported for years and years and years. So why all of a sudden, they've gotten used to that cable money where the cable companies are going, okay, well, here's some money each quarter so that we can show your content on our cable channel. and you can still get, your ads and all the rest of that. It's like, okay, well, you know what? The landscape is now changing. And if you
so that we
want
can show
to add, I'm starting to hear myself. Okay.
Okay.
If you're wanting
Stop
to show,
touching stuff.
if you're wanting to show your content and you don't think that you can get people to pay you money per month for that content, well, then make it ad supported. And that was where CBS All Access screwed up.
Right. But
They had
Peacock
no free tier.
Peacock has
All right.
something else too. Hold on, just real fast. Peacock has a thing by default on the free tier. It will sell your info to advertisers. You could opt out of that. So that's the thing. So that's another way they make money. So if you're doing this, I think there's a place in settings under privacy. It says allow my Peacock to sell my data. You could say no.
Well, what are they going to
opt out.
sell them? That you're watching program X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you're preaching to the choirs. We don't care. We don't care about there's people out there that do. So you know that.
All right. Well, I don't want to go off tangent here because this will be a 2-hour show if we're not careful.
Oh yeah, and that. Well, I'm not going anywhere.
All right. I know you're not, but I don't want to keep us in line here. The next story is 9 to 5 Mac. Only 4 states plan to use Apple Google coronavirus API, none in use yet. So an analyst of U.S. Contact tracing landscape paints a depressing picture. Not a single U.S. state currently offers an app that uses the Apple Google coronavirus API. Only 4 states plan to do so, which is Oklahoma, Alabama, South Carolina, and Virginia. So your home state there, guy.
Yeah.
And I said, despite Apple and Google encouraging each country to build an only single contact tracing app, and we know what the deal is here. People are just so concerned about privacy. They don't want it to. They don't want. I mean, why? They don't want people to know if they have corona that's their business. I think is really the kind of sums it right up here.
Well, then you know what? If that's being the case, then don't sign up for the application. But in the meantime, every single state should be offering this. And if you don't want to use it, then don't use it.
Don't use it. Just like anything else.
Sit there as a state and say, well, we're really concerned about our citizens' privacy, which is just a load of crap. They've so many countries and states have been caught flat-footed time and time again during this pandemic. And so what do? They find ways to excuse poor behavior by saying, well, we're concerned about privacy. If you're really that concerned about privacy, then, stop offering all of your citizens' data to these big corporations to try to entice them to come and set up shop in your state. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now.
Or in your mask, being safe. What anything you have to say?
People won't be so silly in 2022 when we're still stuck inside our houses.
Right.
I think
exactly.
if that's what they want, that's what they're going to get. So that's my feeling.
That about sums it up. All right. 9 to 5 Mac. Another story here. Jamf opened an IPO and shares rise as high as 92% on there. A strong Apple enterprise demand. If anybody's that works with Apple in the enterprise, which I am, and Warren as well, is familiar with Jamf. What they do, they've covered products on 9 to 5 Mac before. It's a mainstay Apple communication tool for at least 2 decades, and it allows enterprises to keep and manage all their Macs and iPads, iPhones, and centralized. And it was an interesting time to go public, honestly, because of everything going on with Corona, but also on the heels of Apple purchasing Fleetsmith, which was a company I actually met when I was at a Mac Tech conference last year. It's a small medium business type the tool that's very, very similar to what Jamf does. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I think it's important to know that this is a Apple related technology, and they've gone public. And I think they're riding on the coattails of Apple, and Apple being a $1.5 trillion company. And I think Jamf's a great company. I've gone to their conferences a number of times, and I've actually met the CEO, and he's a great guy. And I think they're doing good things with this company. And Warren, what do you think? Since you've definitely used Jamf before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird time with the pandemic, but it's also not a horrible time for it with them because there's a lot of people working from home, a lot of people using their own iOS devices, their personal devices, and you know, if they want to have them install the MDM profile or whatever Jamf calls their profile,
Right.
to manage it, then they could do that pretty easily, have them install the profile and get the settings, because even though it locks things down and it does things that maybe the user does not want with a personal device, it does a lot of things they do want to have it done with a personal device, such as access to a corporate email system,
Right.
access the intranet, the proxies that they need to get to the
Oh,
VPNs,
it's a great tool.
stuff like
It
that.
really is.
Yeah.
It keeps
So
things in line for enterprise, because that's very tough to manage these devices. I mean, you think of a company like IBM who has 150,000 devices out there, that using Jamf is just a huge thing for them. I mean, just being able to manage all those devices.
sure, and it's
Is
you
this
have. Good.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
is this kind of a replacement for OS 10 server,
No.
or does it do more than that?
It does a lot.
OS
Does
10
Apple
server
has kind of let OS 10 server die in the vine?
That's gone.
OS 10 server was more for Macs than iOS devices at the time, and it kind of
Right.
died. So the replacement is MDM, which is
Mobile
Apple's.
device management, for those who don't know
Well,
what that means.
MDM is basically what it is, and then Apple. I thought there was another one. There's Jamf. There's this one that Apple bought that I never heard of before Apple bought them, and then
Yeah, Fleetsmith, and then there's also iMazing. Actually, the company iMazing actually just came out with a new product that's going to
do
be
they have
a
something like that?
competitor. It
But
just
there was
came
one
out,
before
so.
that. There was one before that. Another one that the schools use a lot, and I can't remember what it
Well,
was.
it used to be called Casper.
Okay, but now there's one that right. But now actually, Apple has something for iOS. Something called Apple for Education.
Well,
Is that what they call it?
it's Apple Business Manager and also the Apple for Education. Yeah, but they do that to manage their devices. So when you buy a device from Apple through education or business, it's automatically registered to that school or to that
And the
business.
Apple ID and it fixes the Apple ID mess.
It
is what
locks the
does.
device, so if the device were ever to be stolen, no one can use it. It's locked to that.
And it's weird. These things are kind of weird too. Like, just a quick story, but where I work now, we use an MDM, and I don't think it's Jamf. I forget what they use, but whatever.
Yeah.
And even if the device is iCloud lock and we don't have the password and we can't remember it, it doesn't care. It wipes it right out and wipes it out of active. So it's powerful. It bypasses Apple's activation lock, or at least this one did for sure. So some of the things could do pretty cool things. And again, when you have kids, all the kids working at home, people are working from home. This is a good tool to have nowadays to
Right.
get this stuff going.
So, no, bottom line, why I wanted to talk about it more so is because it's exciting to see another company that works along with Apple that's become
question, Dave?
a public company. Yeah, go ahead.
How much?
How much is the stock right now?
How much did you get of it?
Oh, I my 401k, I got 22 shares. So, and it's trading right around $40 right now. It was at its high of 51 when it opened. I waited and didn't buy any until
It'll go up.
that. Yeah, but it'll go up. Yeah, I just wanted to get into it because I think it's a great company and I think they'll do real well. So, all right, let's move on. We will now talk about this is on the Mac Observer. This is iPhone SE winning Android users and unlikely to cannibalize on 5G iPhone sales. And the iPhone SE is helping Apple win over an unprecedented number of Android users, according to new research by Counterpoint. Furthermore, the device price point has encouraged users who are holding on to older Apple smartphones to upgrade. At the same time, the analysts say they're unlikely to cannibalize sales of the 5G iPhone 12. Yeah, this iPhone SE is amazing. We're going to talk to Guy a little bit about how he likes it so far. But I am not surprised at all that finally people are starting to realize, and that's really where the Android market was. People didn't want to spend the higher price for an iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone money.
iPhone money. So this SE starts at was it $400 to $500, which is much more reasonable.
It maxed out when I bought mine at about $550.
There you go.
Or like top of the line.
and that's a lot more affordable. I think Apple was really smart getting into this model. Well, and then, Guy, we'll talk about how your thoughts are here in just a bit in our topics. But what do you think of this discussion? That the fact that Android people are abandoning that crazy platform.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're abandoning it. I think and again, which market? If you're talking about the U.S. market, there's probably more U.S. and Europe Android users that would buy an iPhone SE than in other areas of the world. The device itself is just fantastic. It's a great looking device. It's got great speed. It doesn't have like the top of the line screen that the 11s have, but that's not a huge surprise considering its price point. It's just a really good phone, and we'll go more into it later.
Yeah, absolutely. Any thoughts, Warren?
Oh, good for them for switching.
Yeah,
welcome to
absolutely.
welcome
to the winning side.
The winning side. This is in Apple World today. Function 101 debuts a button remote for the Apple TV. Yahoo! We talked about this yesterday too, Guy.
Yeah.
They announced a button remote for the Apple TV. It's a replacement for the Siri remote that comes with the Apple TV set-top box. That god-awful remote that you never can get to work. It's terrible. This we'll have a link in the show notes, of course. This remote's got buttons. It's just like a regular remote. You'll be able to function with it. And I'm excited to get it. I ordered one that's $29.95. You can't beat that price at all. And to have a functional remote to use your Apple TV is quite awesome. It's going to be shipping. I think they said the second week of August. So I'm pretty excited about it. And yeah, it's a great remote. And you said you did, but you bought a couple, Guy?
Yeah, because I have two running Apple TVs right now, so I did buy two. Yeah. And I cannot tell you, as you know, because we typically when we eat dinner, especially now that the kids are gone, we'll get our dinner and then go into the master bedroom and sit there and watch TV while we eat dinner. And if you miss something in a show, we started watching this British baking show. And every once in a while you're like, wait, what did they say? What is that word again? And you pick up the Apple remote and you just want to go back about 10 seconds. And the next thing you know, it's starting the episode all over again. It's like, no, because then you got to scroll to wherever the hell it is. So the Apple TV remote, the only thing that's really good for other than basic operations it was originally the only way to play games on the Apple TV. But now if you want to play games, go and just get an Xbox controller.
This thing.
Yeah, terrible device.
Showing it on
Worst
camera.
thing since the hockey puck mouse.
Oh yeah, that was even horrible.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Warren?
I think you could ask Siri. Seriously, I think one of the commands is what did she just say? Seriously, and I think that will do that for you. So try that next time. I don't touch the remote. I don't. The thing collects dust. I use my phone constantly, all the time, 100%. Without fail, I will use my phone or my watch to control the Apple TV.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to next story. Apple releases a new study to justify their 30% App Store commission. This was in iPhone hacks.
This is hilarious.
Apple was facing criticism of taking a 30% cut from the App Store transactions, as rightfully so. But they've come up with a study that supports a 30% commission. Of course, they initiated this. The new study highlights the Apple's App Store commission rate is not out of place and similar to other digital marketplace. And it goes on to talk about 38 different marketplace and talks about the Google Play Store, the Amazon App Store. And yeah, it looks like they're all taking about the same percent. If you really look at that, Google Play takes 30%. So does Amazon, Samsung Galaxy Store, Microsoft. So I guess that is fair if you look at those comparisons. Yeah, I mean, you don't see
it's not at all biased. Not at all.
No, not at all. I normally believe Apple, but this was like, to me, it was like, see, Google 30%. I mean, there was like no the graph was just like, if you looked at the graph, it was Apple 30%, Google 30%, They all take 30%. Is it whatever? See, it's not just
And plus it's
the-
retail, so
Yeah.
retail and a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially if they've
Yeah,
never
the
worked in
tax.
retail, don't understand how retail works.
Yeah, the tax here and things like that, and it's the Angry Birds and blah 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 and the stuff. There was just something that didn't look right with the whole story, to be honest with you, to me. But I didn't really read it, so there's
Yeah,
that
no,
too.
I mean, bottom line is there's 2.5 million developers out there. And I don't hear too many of them complaining about the fact they're paying that premium 30% because they're doing pretty well selling their apps, honestly.
Well, some of them are.
And most of them are. I mean, a good majority of them are. So, all right. We'll move on. And a couple other things about T-Mobile here. I love when T-Mobile does their free stuff on T-Mobile Tuesdays. For those of you who are T-Mobile customers, and had been waiting since Major League Baseball just started up tonight. They actually had a game just as we're recording this tonight. The Washington Nationals and the New York Yankees were playing the first game of the season in July, which is bizarre, but and no fans. T-Mobile finally released their free. They give you a free subscription to MLB.TV, so you can watch all the games around the country except your local ones, of course. And that's a great subscription because even when they do it when there's a full season, that subscription can cost you about $250, so it's absolutely free when you're a T-Mobile customer. So which is pretty awesome. And then they also offered a 1-year subscription to their very popular online sports magazine, The Athletic. So I just make sure everybody know this is going to go through. I believe you can go. It's up to August 8th or something like that you actually can get the subscription in. So please jump on it. I know unless you're not a baseball fan, then you don't care.
Or not a T-Mobile customer.
Or if you're not a T-Mobile customer, yeah.
It's like, but I have AT&T. Huh? Well,
got to be a T-Mobile customer and take advantage of this.
I'm in the former. I have no. That's one thing for free. I have no desire to watch. So,
yeah, if you're not,
but what if I've got Cricket Mobile? Damn it! I want my free MLB.
That's right.
You can watch. You can watch cricket.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch baseball.
There are people listening
baseball.
that like baseball and sports. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Make sure everybody was aware.
I like sports. I just don't like watching baseball.
Is Mickey Mantle still playing? Is he still around?
You can watch cricket. You can watch cricket.
Mickey Mantle.
Another T-Mobile story. T-Mobile has been reportedly saying that they will soon require VoIP LTE on all devices connecting to its network. There was an internal document that this is from TMobilenews.com website. Internal document from T-Mobile was leaked out and saying that T-Mobile will soon require all devices on its network to be compatible with Voice over LTE or VoLTE. And the doc was shared out there. It says by August 4th, T-Mobile will stop activating phones that are not VoLTE compatible. What's more, T-Mobile is going to also require all devices connecting to its network support that technology by January 2021, which it says. So T-Mobile did respond and said this is legit. It's going to happen. I look back to see what iPhones would be compatible to this, and you wouldn't have any problems. You can go as far back as the iPhone 6 and all the way up. So I don't think anybody out there, unless you got a really old phone before the iPhone 6, I think you're okay if you're on T-Mobile. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really going to hurt Android users probably more than iPhone users.
Right. That's what that was really what I thought the most, because a lot of those Android phones out there are old because people hold on to them, and
they do
so. And
because they still
Apple
work.
does give you, and they work, and at least Apple does go back pretty far on the phones that do have this technology.
Well, that's what the 6 is 5 years old, 6 years old, 5 years. It's got at least 5. Yeah. And if you're on, I can't say too much because my wife still uses a original SE. But if you're if you're on it's barely. If you're on an iPhone that old, just put $5 a week aside, and within a year you can get an SE.
There you go. The new SE.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Warren?
SE2.
I'm good.
All right. Next story, Apple is giving away a new hacker-friendly iPhone. And we talked about this yesterday on Mac to the Future Go as well. Apple is known for its robust security, but it typically sees fewer viruses and less susceptible to attack than competing operating systems like Windows and Android. Apple's growing use of security experts and hackers is the one reason why. And the company's going a step further by having new hacker-friendly iPhones designed for them to easily find vulnerabilities. Apple's new open access iPhone will be in the hands of the world's best and most trusted security researchers for testing. And these loners will make it easy for them to find, identify, and test flaws in iOS. The biggest thing I think that's standing out here is it will have SSH and root access and shell command support. And that's for those of you who are not geeky, that's really, you're really going down into the depths of what an iPhone can do. But this is great to see. I think that they do offer a bug bounty program, and they pay researchers some big money. And there's been some that have been paid about $1 million for a 0-day vulnerability. So, Warren, what do you think of this?
Yeah, no, I read the story. It's neat. I think it's the first time they're doing that, and just between these hacker phones out there and these ARM-based Mac Minis out there, it's like the Wild West of Apple hardware.
Right now,
right now, it's just kind of like trying new things and letting people have things that, some people have things that other people can have, and that's it hasn't happened in a while, which is kind of neat. So it just means things are changing. There's no way they're going to allow root access and SSH to the public, but it's a step in a different direction. Apple was very tight on those things before, letting people outside of Apple have that kind of stuff. So interesting.
Yeah.
Well, is this going to be dangerous in that, yes, it's being given to hackers in order for them to find bugs. But if they can find something that affects not just, the iPhones with that kind of special access, but iPhones that are, just regular Joe Bloggs has, and they can make more money by selling an exploit that they found. Is Apple opening up a can of worms that they may not be able to control?
Yeah, that is true.
They probably, I'm sure I would have to be really sure that these things are very tracked to the owner. And
100%.
Well, they wouldn't necessarily put out an exploit from the phone that they've gotten from Apple, but they could certainly send along the information on how to do the exploit that would affect just everybody's, regular phones. And I don't know if Apple would be able to track it down as to who did it.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, but everybody's regular phones don't have that opening. They have a special version of the operating system that has that opening where normal people's phone does not. So that, in theory, they shouldn't be able to do anything dangerous to a regular phone, but they have this phone so they could really test the boundaries of what possibly could happen, I guess.
All right.
But,
I don't know. Me skeptical.
Obviously, Dave and I don't really know the answer other than you kind of have to trust that Apple thought about things like that.
They definitely had to have thought through this.
Yeah, handed over some keys to people,
No, and to allow them to have openings like that, that'd be surprising. So, all right, that's our news stories this week. So let's get into topics. And the guy, you just got the iPhone SE, which is exciting, and that was a number of months ago. So, we wanted to find out more. And you've talked about a lot over the last few months. How are you liking the SE so far, and what really stands out to you as far as what's improved from your iPhone 8 that you had before?
Yeah, well, I had an iPhone 8 Plus, so
8 Plus,
it had the bigger screen, and the only real negative that I can think of having the SE over that 8 Plus has been screen size, because as you both know, I'm a rather large individual,
large man.
Yeah, and I have big hands, so this kind of looks in a way toyish as compared to the phone that I had before. Um,
what they say about a
Not
guy
toyish
with
for
big
us.
I'm sorry, what was that, Warren?
hands. They say, you know what they say about a guy with big hands.
That's right. We have to
Small-
buy really big gloves.
Glove gloves. Yeah,
Small-
don't go there beyond
small
that.
small iPhones. I was going to say
Well-
small iPhones.
Small iPhones. So
That's right.
other than that, it's so much faster than the 8 Plus that I had before.
Of course.
It connects really well. The battery life is fantastic. But again, you know, I mean, the screen is of comparable quality because I think the 8 Plus had a similar type screen as what the iPhone SE does.
Right.
But the biggest plus overall, number one, was the price going in was just so cheap that it didn't make any sense to keep holding on to the 8 Plus. Typically when I buy a phone, I use it for 2 to 4 years before I get something else. And there's usually a compelling reason beyond there's a new phone out for me to get a new phone. Whether it's cameras or it's got some connectivity that the older phones don't have or you know, what have you. But in this case, it really was just price. It was an amazing price for what is it, 10? What is the phone, the guts that's inside of this? Is it the
It's got
11?
the 11
The 11.
guts. Yeah. Mhm. Yep.
Okay. So it's like getting an 11 in a slightly smaller phone with a slightly less, you know, nice screen for an amazing price. And I have absolutely no regrets other than a slightly smaller screen. So I call it a win.
Okay. And anything else that stands out that's been good on the phone? You got performance, but
Performance,
everything-
connectivity. I mean, my 8 Plus, even with T-Mobile's relatively good coverage in the area that I live, I would still get dropouts. I have never gotten a dropout
that's
in
great.
a suburban area with this phone like I have with other iPhones on T-Mobile's network. Okay, and it happens, you know. I mean,
Sure.
regardless of what carrier it is that you use, they all have little blind spots. Even when I went down to Florida, and on my way back trying to escape a hurricane, I drove all the way from Central Florida back here to Virginia and had CarPlay, and at no time
Yeah, love it.
did I have a dropout all the way
That's
up the
awesome.
East Coast of the US.
Yeah. So
Fantastic phone.
Except
Highly recommend it.
except your son.
Okay.
Was a dropout.
Oh no, he's
That's a good dropout.
no. Actually, I was kind of the dropout, but that's a whole nother story.
That's a
for
whole
a
other
whole
story.
nother day. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I'm kidding. I have no idea what your son is doing.
I think Warren's getting giddy already. All right, let's go and move on. Since we last had our show, the iOS 13.6 was released to everybody. It did include an update to Apple News Plus that added audio playback of stories, as well as it added car keys option to cars that support it, which are basically none right now, except BMW. If you got a brand new, like was it a BMW 6 or whatever it was. But that's really all that stood out. And of course, they always say bug fixes and updates and all that fun stuff. But one of the things that did stand out though is what Apple did was they actually they have an actual now News Plus curators, and they came out with a new podcast called Apple News Today, which is available on Apple Podcasts, but it's actually available. You can grab it on any podcatcher too, because it's an RSS feed, so you can listen Monday through Friday. They actually recap, they review the news of the day for each day. Is it
real people or?
Yeah, no, it's two people that are hosting it, and it's these are both curators of the News Plus, so I think that's a great thing. And the other thing too is it also will read a lot of news stories from other magazines like Wired and Esquire and others. It just comes up and there's people narrating actually these stories. Maybe include the Wall Street Journal and the Los Angeles Times that would have some audio stories.
Yeah, I'm imagining Mr. Rogers sitting there. Let's read something from the Wall Street Journal today. Would you like that, boys and girls? I know you
it's
will.
not that bad. It's not
Okay,
that bad. But this is on the iPhone only so far. It isn't on the iPad. But when you go into audio, you tap it, and then the first thing that's going to come up is Apple News Today. And the good thing is they're short little sessions. Like this podcast each day is around 8 or 9 minutes, so you just get a quick recap of what's going on in the news. And then I'm looking through what's on it now. It's got Entertainment Weekly, People Magazine, Vanity Fair. It's got, depending on the discussion, like there was an article in Variety, The Death of Cable TV. I actually might want to listen to that one. The New Atlantis, GQ. I mean, there's a ton of magazines here for an Apple News Plus that people are actually reading. You got a 51-minute session on from Vanity Fair in plain sight. So it's great. I think that's awesome that they really have added that enhancement to News Plus. It could and might very well attract more subscribers for the $9.99 a month they charge for it, because you do have access to a lot of newspapers, magazines, information about news. Because you can use the news app on its own without the plus if you don't want to pay for it. I mean, I think you could still, you can listen to the Apple News Today podcast. You don't have to be a News Plus subscriber to get that. But some of those stories I just mentioned, I believe you do have to be a subscriber. So did you have any thoughts on this, Kai, at all beyond what we just talked about?
Well, I'm not a News Plus subscriber. So, I actually, while we were just talking about it, I just subscribed to it. So I'll probably listen to that on my way to work tomorrow.
I believe you get a free trial. So if you hadn't subscribed to it before, I believe you get, no, maybe not. I think News Plus, you have to, I think you have to pay for it right away.
But I may have already used the free trial.
Right.
I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah. So $9.99 for the month. See how you like it.
When are they coming out with a bundled service? That
was the next thing that we're going to talk about. Then it would be interesting to see.
Sorry.
What's that?
I didn't realize that was in there. Were we going to talk about that tonight?
The bundled service?
Yeah.
They are going to be talking about bundling it. Yes. They haven't come up with something as of yet.
Okay.
It's been
good.
more of a rumor right now than it was anything official. I think they'll probably wait until iOS 14 is rolled out.
Yeah, that would make sense.
We'll see where we go. So we'll definitely see where that goes. So and then as I said, the car key thing and other improvements were added. Really not much else that we could really throw out there. I think those were probably pretty much all of the of what
major
was
updates.
Released, the major updates. So let's and then also I'm sorry, the one thing I did forget is iOS 13.6 was added to how to find a symptom tracking in the health app. You actually can go into the health app and set it. If you go in the health app, you go into browse, and there's a tab at the bottom. And then you scroll down to get the symptoms, and there's a wide variety of symptoms available to track, including abdominal cramps and wheezing and all kinds of other stuff. And
oh, good.
This is interesting. Yeah, this is interesting to see how this health app is going to actually sense all of these different symptoms. But they did add that this was a feature that was added in 13.6. Okay. And then let's go into beta discussion a little bit. Not sure if Warren's available, and he's waving. Okay. So if he can talk, let us know. Beta is
insulin check. Go ahead.
Okay, so everything that beta 3 was released to the developers, and then beta 2 is out for the public. So the public betas are out in beta 2. The beta 3 is out to the developers. A couple things that were notable that was occurred. They did change the music icon. Now it's red instead of white.
It's red.
Yeah. And then and it's some other notes where Warren, you're there. I just downloaded, so I haven't had a chance to play with it too much. But what's standing out for you with this latest beta?
So they changed the icon. The thing I was just checking as you were talking about to see if they added the audio stories to the news app, and they did not. That audio tab is still not there.
Yeah. So it's on
I
iOS 13.6, but not in iOS 14. Go figure.
why wouldn't they put it in this beta? I have no idea. There's a couple bugs that they got fixed. A lot of people are having a problem with this. Storage was reporting wrong on the phones, and that's been fixed. Other than that, I don't see any noticeable changes except when you start to look at the new screens. If you swipe to the left and where you get the widgets, it comes up with a little instructional diagram saying, "Hey, this is the new widget page for a one-time thing." Same thing if you scroll, add the widgets, kind of gives you like a introduction of what it is, so I guess that's going to be part of the production, tell people the changes in the home screen, so they notice it. Other than that, I don't notice anything else of value. I didn't you play with it on my phone, but not so much on the iPad yet, so I haven't heard much. I haven't played much with that.
Yeah, a couple standouts. They did update some widgets. They had the clock widget finally. I didn't understand why that wasn't.
Well, let me tell you about it. It doesn't. It's crazy. So
Okay.
So first of all, you have a clock on the main screen anyways, but you add the clock widget, you have to do world clocks and things like that. But the problem with widgets is they, as of right now, they're not. They don't do live updates yet. So if you add the clock icon, and it looks like it's right, and then like you come back to your phone, the time stays on the time that it was. You last looked at the phone, so it doesn't. That's not a good thing for a clock. A clock needs to be up to date. So, but yeah, you can add the clock.
But and then other smart things they did is like they had pop-ups that tell you about what was like the refresh widgets, the welcome to the app library, and which we've talked about the organizing and smart categories, and then edit home screens that all pops up now, which is great. Then of course it's got it's got the screen time widget, which I try to avoid the screen time. I think I turn it off. I don't need to know how much time I'm spending on my
it's
my
more
iPhone,
annoying than anything else.
Yeah, it really is.
I still get an alert every Sunday morning now. I don't know how to turn it off. Do you get that too? Every Sunday morning it tells you how much screen time you use?
Yeah.
Whether you've gone up or down, it's like, oh God, leave me alone. I don't care.
Turn it off. Leave me alone. Other than that, it's all a little, minor stuff. We don't need to really delve into. But that's how beta is. The people continue to test it. Again, don't put it on your primary device except for Warren.
Please.
Fine. It's fine. Just do it. Do it.
Everyone, go now.
No.
Do it now.
Never going to tell anybody to do it on their primary device. You'll be very unhappy. You'll regret it.
And come after me.
There was also Apple Watch 7, the beta 3 was released to developers. Right now the public beta has not come out as of yet, because they were spouting that they were going to release the public beta of Watch OS, which has never happened in previous betas to the public, but that hasn't happened yet. So but it's iOS 14, iPad OS 14, TV OS 14 are all in beta right now. Those are being tested right now. It should be interesting. The other thing was the AirPods. I know there's a lot of chatter right now is the fact that you have that spatial audio, which they talked about during the WWDC. They announced that right now it's not enabled as of yet. So I don't know how we're going to be able to test this stuff if you don't provide it. But they'd also added the automatic device switching, which was always a pain in iOS 13. That feature was quick and easy device switching from devices when you are signed in with your iCloud account. But iOS 14 will allow you to switch between all your devices: iPad, tvOS, Watch, and even Mac. So it's gonna be interesting to see where that goes as far as that the device settings. And then the other great thing, which I always was annoyed at the fact, is battery notifications. You never would get a visual display of how much battery life you have left for your AirPods. All you would hear is that dreaded and tell you that your batteries are almost dead.
Yeah,
and a lot of good that does you, but when you're in the middle of something, I want to listen to it. So. Other thing they did add, which was interesting, is the headphones accommodations, which is an accessibility. This is for folks who are hard of hearing and able to amplify soft sounds, adjust frequencies to make music movies, calls, and sounds and more, much crisper and clear. And that's what I love about Apple and what they've done with the iPhone devices. They're really accommodating folks with accessibility issues, and this in itself is just great. I really like that. So
it's one of the things that almost all of their mobile devices are known for. I mean, every single time they come out with a new device, or if it's whether it's WWDC or whether back in the day it was Macworld Expo, they always devoted time to accessibility issues.
Yes, and we've talked about accessibility in the past. So, and then in Control Center, if you have the hearing feature turned on in Control Center, you can actually turn it on, and it actually has the headphone level. It'll show you a live meter of how much volume is coming through on your AirPods to make sure that the decibel level is safe on the phone itself. But of course, if you have your Apple Watch, it's going to tell you that you're in a loud environment anyway, so you'll be safe. But it does allow you to reduce keep the decibels to a level that protects your ears too. So it's good stuff. Warren, do you have anything to add on that? Have you tried any of this stuff?
Yeah, a couple of them. The headphone level thing is neat. I'm not sure what you could use it for, but with the accessibility, there's a lot of discussion of how we had Shelley on the show once, right? Shelley
Right.
Brisbane.
We did. Yeah. Brisbane.
And
yep.
She's I heard her talking to one of the other podcasts.
Probably Chuck or Ken.
It might have been Ken on his after show.
In a few minutes.
Yeah, that one. And she's a person who needs the accessibility features more than some other people, which is great. And there's a little debate on whether when people who don't need the features find the features to be great and use them, are they still accessibility features? So that's a question. Like the thing that came up is in iOS 14 there's this triple click on the back, so you could triple click tap the back or double or triple bump the back, and it could take you to a shortcut, and that's an accessibility thing. But it's also useful for the masses. So I mean, and a lot of these accessibility features kind of migrated over, such as the trackpad, the mouse support. So it's just an interesting take on it.
Well, that's how the whole mouse, the mouse pointer, whatever. Yeah, that's kind of where the whole thing started.
Right. So I mean, this triple click thing that's in accessibility, no doubt in the next version, it's not going to be part of accessibility. It's going to be, iKnock. It's going to be a feature.
Right.
And now you can knock on, the back of your iPhone to get to, and they'll perfect it, and you could do different things, and you could knock once for this and knock twice for that. So I mean, it's just it's cool that the accessibility features are great for people who need it, but some of it is actually good for people who may not.
Yep. All right. Let's one more topic we'll touch upon before we wrap things up here is password managers. What password managers do you what password manager do you use, Guy?
I use 1Password. I have in the past thought about moving away from it, especially when I went to a subscription service. But because, not so much momentum, what's the word I'm looking for? You get stuck using something and you just continue to use it, whether or not you agree with the direction that it's going in, just because to move would be such a pain in the neck that you just don't want to do it. So I finally bit the bullet and got the subscription service.
And 1Password for Teams.
Yeah, I can't say that it's all that majorly different for me. I host it in a particular cloud account that I have, and so that makes it available on every single device that I use. So that's very convenient, but it's nothing that other password managers don't also do.
Warren, do you use 1Password?
I tried it. I didn't like it.
So what's your choice?
iCloud Keychain, and
Okay.
and my brain,
Yeah, well,
which is
yeah.
which is as of yesterday, I had more trust in. So maybe I'll stop using it for some of the things because it's starting.
Well, and
to
there's
tell me.
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with using Keychain. I mean,
No, I use
it's
both,
built
actually.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
using one doesn't necessarily preclude using the other.
So I don't remember if I used 1Password or the other big one, which was
LastPass.
Yeah, and there's
And
there's Dashlane, and there's a host of
There's a
others
bunch
out
of
there.
others.
I used one that seemed to be unneedingly complicated, and even for me, and I'm fairly good with computers, and
Lover of complications.
it just didn't seem, the one I tried just didn't seem like this was going to make my life easier trying to set the thing up.
Yeah.
And because I think I was also trying, the idea was it was going to be a family shared one because we all have these passwords, my family, and I said screw it. So I got the trial and then I never used it.
Yeah, and 1Password's always been kind of Mac centric, but they've really expanded upon this. We're gonna have a link in the show notes to Wirecutter, which was bought out not too long ago by the New York Times. So they've got a prominent article about getting the most out of 1Password on their site, which is awesome. They've been around for quite a while, and they're a Canadian-based company, which is cool. And yeah, I think you could still use 1Password without having the subscription. You still can have the database, and you can
well, you can buy the
you just buy the
standalone application,
right, for like 30,
but it
40 bucks.
nags the hell out of you all the time.
Yeah. So no, I went with the 1Password for Teams as well, but I'm trying to get my wife to use it. We need to get more onto that because God forbid something happens, you don't want to make sure that you have access to all your passwords. But this article went through and talks about how to set it up using a strong master password, which you'll have set up, so you don't and it'll give you a generation of what it is, and of course you have to remember it, which is the whole
point.
Okay, yeah. And it's only $36 a year. I mean, I know that's another piece of extra cost that you got to have on it, but you can install it on your desktop, on your Mac. You can install it on Windows. You can install it on any iOS device that works on Android. So they've covered all of the devices, because in the past they were very Mac centric, and they had started expanding onto Windows not too long ago. So you have mobile apps on all these devices, and I love it. I mean, like I said, I use both the iCloud Keychain and 1Password, so it gives me the choice. Which one do you want to use? So I'm maintaining two databases, so I have backup basically. So on iCloud Keychain, like Warren said, it doesn't cost you anything. It's great. They've got tools like Watchtower where it's an auditing feature that keeps track of seeing what kind of passwords. And I believe, be very honest, I'm very bad at using the same password in a lot of places. And using tags, and as far as getting rid of the two-factor authentication warning, you'll have those options. And it's got secure notes. You keep your credit cards in there. So I mean, it's so powerful, and just I don't think a lot of people really take a lot of focus on how to use it. All they want to do is put their passwords and be done with it. Is really,
well, it's the main reason why I swapped a lot of my financial data to going online instead of getting paper bills for everything, and trying to deal with just the mountain of paper that comes in from just day-to-day life.
Exactly.
Everything I basically do, from credit cards to auto insurance, is all done through, it's all done online. And 1Password.
So wait,
I mean, I was.
Wait, sorry, is your password Vert Parrot Shark?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay.
For every single thing that I ever do online, it's Vert
password 1 2 3 4.
Vert Parrot Shark.
1 2 3 4. Arg.
Password.
Arg. Arg.
But it's got like 18 letters, so it's Vert Parrot Shark password. That's everything.
So let's I think
with your PayPal address at the end of it.
I think we'll actually jump on this in another episode. I want to touch a little more on password managers and get a little more in depth about it. But I will have a link in the show notes for this article. It'll give you some good insight to this awesome program. And I've been a subscriber for many years.
Yeah,
I'll revisit it. Seriously, I'll try it again because I think I didn't give it a fair share. And I heard
they're great. And I switched. I'm doing subscription now. I'm fine with it. And I mean, I know a couple of the guys. There's one guy who actually is here locally. That is one of the developers who lives here in Chicago. So I've been friendly with him, and I like these guys. They're very supportive. They give you good support, and they have a good product. So shout out to 1Password, and check out this article.
Yeah.
We'll give you all the links to all that in the show notes, and we'll definitely need to spin back to this and talk about it in a future episode. So, all right, we've come to the end of the show. Thanks everybody for being here. We're gonna go and wrap things up. And you made it through the whole thing. I was very impressed. Very impressed.
That's crazy.
You made it through the whole thing. So let me go do a wrap here. We'll say goodbye to you guys. And that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can find us on Twitter @InTouchWithIOS. You can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. Or better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, which has been newly updated. And yes, I know there have had some notes. I need to do some updating to it that doesn't show the show notes on the mobile device or on the website. We're working on that. But we'll definitely be working on that soon. So, but just still go to the website. You'll still be able to find all the ways to listen to us there, because all the links and all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Guy Cyril, thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Where can everybody find you?
Well, besides occasionally ruining other people's podcasts, I also do a couple of my own. I do the mymac.com podcast on most weekends with Mr. Gazmaz. I've been doing that since 2009, Gaz and I. So we're going on 11, 12 years we've been doing that show.
11 years?
Yeah, long time there, Shemmy. Also, the Mac to the Future Go live cast on almost every Wednesday night with, of course, both Dave and Warren right here. Then I also do something that's totally crazy, which is Guy's Daily Drive that I don't do every day, but I do while driving. And you can find all of these things in one form or another over at vertshark.com. I'm on the Twitters. I am vertshark and Mac Parrot on the Twitters. Guy at mymac.com is the email address. And I don't know. I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube. Yep. Go to YouTube, look up Vert Shark there. And then if you watch any of the videos there, make sure you like, share, subscribe. And if you miss it the first time, like, share, subscribe. That's how it works.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. And then Warren, you're from a hospital bed, but I know you're on Mac to the Future, and you got a lot of love out there that they're all worried about you. So it's a great group there.
So that's good. Yeah, I do that. I do the stuff that you guys were talking about. Macstock. Did you want to talk about Macstock?
I will mention Macstock. It's 2 days away
this
from
weekend.
When we record this.
Yeah.
It's actually this weekend, so it might be tough to get in there. If you happen to hear this before Saturday, the 26th or 25th, you can go to macstockconferenceandexpo.com. There's a link out there. You can go to a free virtual Macstock. We're having a virtual Macstock this year. I'm actually going to be the co-host. We've got recorded sessions on there from some great speakers, including Chuck Joyner, Allison Sheridan, Brett Terpstra, along with Al Newman and others. So check that out, macstockconferenceandexpo.com. We'll have a link in the show notes. And if you don't make it, I don't know how he's going to handle the replays, but you might be able to watch some of the replays of the sessions.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to be ready to go to Macstock 2021, which I am crossing my fingers we can have a live conference, but who knows the way things are going right now. But yeah, definitely come check that out.
I might drive, I might fly, I might take a train. I don't know.
We'll see. So, but I really appreciate everybody really appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. And thanks for listening.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. There, we got it right under hour. Or close enough.
Yeah. Are you going to need my audio, or can I stop recording now?
You can stop recording now.
Okay. If you need it, just let me know.
And then let
And
me.
I
say
have
go-
it'll be 2 files. There'll be one with my audio and then one with the Zoom audio.
All right, guy, and then we're saying goodbye to the streams. Goodbye, everybody.